Hey guys, I am Coach Osborne. I'm the varsity assistant with the soccer team. Coach Smith couldn't be here. He teaches over at the academy, so it's hard for him to make these, so you guys have to settle for me. Just a quick rundown on our season thus far. We've played 6 games on the varsity side of the soccer team. We're 3-3. We played one conference game against Raytown, which we won. Overall, it's been kind of a crazy season. We lost a couple early, and now we've won a couple here, so we're back to 500, so it's kind of a fresh start for us. We're kind of hopeful that we can maybe get going here a little bit and see where that takes us. In terms of the program as a whole, we're the biggest we've ever been. We have 81 kids out in the program. We've had 2 straight classes of 25 freshmen, and so we're really growing, and that's something we're really proud of and is really important to us. So not just the success of the varsity, but even just the growth of the program as we add a C team. We added it last year, our freshman team, and we would love to keep growing and helping young people learn a little bit. So what questions do you guys have for me?
So from last year's mentality or strategy, what has changed to this year?
Oh, that's a good question. We haven't changed a lot tactically this year. We still play a similar system. We've added a few more probably technical players, more skilled players. Just as guys have gotten older, we only lost a couple seniors last year and really brought in some more guys. So it's allowed us to play a more possession style of game where we try to keep the ball a little bit more and try to pass more and control the game and dictate our style. So that's definitely something we've tried to do. We've moved some players around this year. Zach Shipper was our sweeper last year, and we've moved him into the midfield because we feel like he gives us some better options there in terms of his skill level. And so overall the style's the same, but we feel like we've got a little more skill on the field this year, and so we're kind of seeing what that can do for us.
What formation have you been using this season, and has it been effective?
Yeah, so we play kind of a 4-3-3 is what it's called, and with 4 backs, 3 midfielders, and 3 forwards. It's been effective. We've had some trouble or not trouble, but we've played with putting guys in the right spots. So we started with Dillon, Posado Caro, and Mason Leith were in the midfield, and we've now moved them to the forward position, kind of finding their right spot. Zach Shipper was sweeping. Now he's into the midfield. We've played with using a sweeper stopper in the back where we stack our 2 backs on top of each other versus have them next to each other flat. I know this is really technical jargon, but a 4-3-3, and we really try to press hard, be really aggressive on defense, and try to turn teams over so that we can get quick attacks at the goal.
With the massive amount of freshmen that you have coming in, I think you said 25 for the last 2 classes. What do you do about those freshmen that come in and are technically trained completely different than what you want them to be?
Yeah, that's a good question. We definitely see a variety of players in their backgrounds of the skill set they have. Some freshmen come in a little more advanced than others, and like we have one on the varsity this year, a couple on the JV, but we have an entirely freshman team this year. We had that last year as well, and so that's where we really give kids an opportunity to learn kind of our style of play and really work on some of the fundamental things that maybe they haven't worked on in the past. And so a lot of kids play a lot of different formations. A lot of kids grow up kind of playing a 4-4-2 stylistically with a lot of kind of you kick the ball and you run and chase it down and use your athleticism. And that starts to not work as well in high school because the defenses get too good. And so we have to really teach kids how to possess the ball and work together and work our way up as a team. And so that gives us that opportunity on the Navy team.
How are you preparing the team for the 4 games in 5 days this week?
So it'll actually be, I think, 5 games even. We'll play 3 at our tournament this weekend, and we have 2 this week. And that's always really hard for us. Part of preparing for that is we practice really hard over the summer and working on our fitness, but at this point not hitting it too hard in practice. And hopefully using some more substitutions during the week to try to keep guys a little healthier and rested. But really it's going to be just a challenge for the guys, and we'll see what they're capable of, and hopefully guys can kind of step up for us a little bit. We like doing this kind of early in the year to have a challenge to see if we can overcome it and see if we're the better for it.
You guys are playing Liberty this upcoming Monday. What are your expectations going into that game?
Oh man, I hadn't put a lot of thought into it just because it's so far out with 5 games this week. But that's a conference game. They've been a really tough opponent for us in the past. I feel like the players know each other more. They've all grown up with each other, so everyone's very familiar with each other. But in terms of our expectations, it's going to be to come in and give it our best, because it's going to be a tough game, and it's going to be a really important game for conference and district seeding and for the conference title. And so we'll have to kind of see where that goes. But I expect it to be a really difficult game. It is every year, and so we'll see.
You talked about Dillon Posada-Caro earlier and how you've kind of been playing with his positioning, and he's been playing really well this year. How do you think that's kind of affected the team as a whole?
Yeah, so Dillon's he's scored a lot of goals, which is a good thing in soccer. We'd like to do that more. And so that's helped the team in terms of just it relieves some pressure. Putting him at the forward spot gives him a chance to kind of, when the defense makes a mistake and he's closer to the goal, he's more likely to be able to kind of turn that mistake into a goal, where in the past when he was in the midfield, it was harder to kind of capitalize on those mistakes and really counter on them. It's definitely liberating for the team of when one guy's kind of in form and playing really well there. It's also a challenge because you don't want to become so dependent on one guy scoring all your goals, because if he has a bad day, you're kind of sunk. And so we'd definitely like to see some other guys get going as well. Mason Leith scored a couple goals. Shipper scored a goal. Cam scored a goal for us, Cam Davis. But it's really helpful, obviously, to have a guy playing well, but we'd love to see more guys get going as well.
Scoring goals late to win games has been your guys' thing lately. How do you feel about that?
I like scoring goals late. I'll take it. We'll score them all the time if we can. That game in Grain Valley on Thursday we just played was a game like that, where we were up 1-0 and kind of possessing and not dominating the game, but playing really well. But we got really tired. It was our second game in 2 days, and let them back in and then scored the goal late. We'd love to not get there and not have to rely on that. We'd rather score early and kind of put teams away and give a chance to kind of rest guys and get some more guys in the game. But if that's what we have to do, that's what we'll do. But it definitely, as the game goes on, it's challenging if just guys get tired and you just never know what's going to happen late in a game. And so you'd rather kind of try to control it early.
So how has your record changed to the equivalent of this time last year?
Ooh, that's a good question. So we're 3-3 now. I'm guessing now. I'm kind of spitballing here off the top of the brain. We were around there last year. The Liberty tournament we always start with has always been a challenge for us. Every year to start the year, it's a really tough tournament. I think we were 2-1 coming out of that, and this year we were 1-2. But we were probably in about a similar place as we were last year, kind of right around 500, winning about as many as we've lost. So about the same spot probably.
With these 5 games coming up, how are you guys going to stay motivated and just to play these games?
Yeah, hopefully just the act of playing a game is really motivational for the guys and something they care about. It's really about kind of accepting the challenge in front of you and seeing that and having a growth mindset and just being ready for the challenge at hand.
Do you feel that as the year's progressing, you're kind of figuring out where to put people and how to play them?
Yeah, the more we see players, the more we kind of have an idea on where they are positionally. But it definitely, players grow and change over time, and sometimes I feel like as coaches it's easy to kind of lose sight of that and keep a guy in a spot. Like Zach Shipper played a position for us last year, and he's kind of grown as a player, and this year as a senior, that wasn't something that was necessarily on our radar to start the year, but we've moved him, and he's been really successful for us so far. And so it's just something as a coach you don't want to fall into that trap of putting a kid in a box and deciding what they are and sticking with that, because kids change and grow and progress. And so that's something we try to be mindful of, but it's definitely a trap and a challenge you can fall into. And I think that's all the time we have, so thanks guys. I enjoyed the questions, and we'll do it again sometime.